In this video, we are going to continue discussing the eBay MC999 suspension issue, which I was recently given a couple of days ago. And in the prior video, what we did was we sort of looked at the explanation of what the MC999 suspension actually is. If you haven't seen that video, I recommend watching that first, and I will link the playlist for this series of videos in the pinned comment in the comment section. However, in this video, what we're going to be doing is looking at the potential to overturn this type of suspension because based on my conversations with eBay on the phone about this and through various research I have done, it seems incredibly unlikely. I am still optimistic. I mean, maybe I'm completely crazy, but I still believe that there's a chance here for me to get this overturned. And if I am able to do this, I will be highlighting the journey here so that other eBay sellers can follow similar steps and get their seller accounts recovered. First, I want to look at the likelihood that any of these reversal appeals are likely to be heard or granted. And I asked AI to estimate the percentage of MC999 suspensions that are actually overturned in real life. Here, AI explains that there are no official statistics released by eBay as they consider their internal security protocols proprietary. There's a lot of secrecy that goes on with a lot of this stuff, and that's unfortunate because there are real people involved here, and I do think that people deserve actual, realistic, and honest explanations of why their account might have been banned. AI goes on to say, however, based on data from e-commerce legal experts, appeals services, and seller community consensus in 2026, the estimated overturn rate is less than 1% when there is a true MC999 policy violation in place. So that is a scary number, but that also assumes that an actual policy violation did occur. And in my estimation, I mean, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I do believe that many of these are not actual policy violations. And those are the types of situations that we're going to be discussing in this video series. Don't get me wrong, if you really did commit a true, serious, and severe policy violation, I absolutely believe that you should be banned from the platform, but we're not really looking at those types of cases here. AI goes on to say, if the suspension was issued for verified fraud, counterfeit items, or multiple linked banned accounts, the chance of reversal is effectively zero. Okay, so if we're being fair, I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, if there are true violations here, so be it. That's perfectly fine. Next scenario, AI discusses the potential for false positives, identity, or automated flags. In this case, AI thinks that there is a 5 to 10% chance of a suspension reversal. If the account was suspended due to a surge in sales on a new account or a VPN IP mismatch that triggered an automated security flag, there is a small window for success if you can reach a high-level manual reviewer. Now look, this is really a daunting figure because this assumes that there wasn't really much of a policy violation. I mean, maybe you had a surge in sales or maybe you had an IP address mismatch. I mean, in my opinion, like, I suppose we could disagree on this, but I don't believe that should be a bannable offense. And even in these cases, AI is saying there is a small window of success if you can reach a high-level manual reviewer. So, in other words, 90 to 95% of these cases remain banned. Why the rate is so low? The MC999 is rarely an error. Okay, well, I personally think that's debatable, but let's just continue. By the time you receive this specific notice, the following has usually happened. 1. Automated flagging. An AI system flagged your account for high-risk behavior. 2. Preliminary human review. In many cases, a low-level specialist has already taken a quick look and agreed with the system. 3. Final designation. The quote indefinite status is applied, which technically removes the appeal button from your dashboard, making it physically difficult to even submit a request for appeal. Now let's look at the positive side of things, the 1%ers, who actually gets reinstated. Those who successfully overturn an MC999 usually fall into these narrow categories. 1. The misidentified seller. Sellers who can prove that they are not the person eBay thinks they are. For example, if you moved into a house where the previous tenant was banned. 2. The invoice proof seller. New sellers who were banned for a quote risk but can provide 100% verifiable wholesale invoices from authorized distributors. And these would not be retail receipts to prove the legitimacy of their supply chain. So in other words, you need to prove that these products are not stolen, they're sourced from legitimate sources and are not counterfeit. 3, the persistence strategy. And I think that this is where we should really be focusing our attention if we're looking for ways to unban these accounts. And in my opinion, maybe this is still premature, maybe I'm completely wrong, but I think most people just give up and they don't even continue trying. But we're in this video series, what we're going to be doing is looking at some of the other options that really are available. I personally need to do this because this is an account that has $600,000 in sales over the last 5 years. I would consider that to be a lot of money. So in this video series, I will be exhausting every possible resource so that at least we can educate ourselves about this process. AI goes on to say, those who reach out via the Better Business Bureau or executive escalations, though this is becoming less effective as eBay's AI-driven security becomes more autonomous. This is a little bit scary because, you're just dealing with a bot at this point, and if the system flags your account, maybe there's nobody to talk to, is what this is kind of suggesting. Bottom line, if you receive an MC999, you should treat it as a permanent exit from the platform. While a 5% chance exists for those who have a clean record and verifiable paperwork for their supply chain, most sellers spend hundreds of hours on appeals that never get a human response. So this is scary here, and it does kind of suggest that, the cards are stacked against us and maybe it's going to be close to impossible. But, we're going to try. We're not going to give up here. And we do need to educate the eBay community about these processes because I think at the very least, I think it's clear that eBay needs to revitalize and revamp these suspensions because they're definitely banning people that don't deserve to be banned, at least in some cases.